here is our pictogram. Here is the grades, and here is the number of learners in each grade at that specific school, I believe. And then we have our key here. Our key here, as you can see, the key here, the key is actually mostly to show us what each symbol or what each picture represents, like how many people it represents or how many items it represents. So our key here, let me say 1 person represents 10 learners. So we, instead of going to draw a lot of other kids out here, we are going to use 1 person to represent 10 learners. Okay, so we are going to actually answer questions according to the following pictogram. We are going to read data and interpret data from this pictogram, and we are going to answer the following questions. So our first question is, which grade has the most learners? So we are going to look at our pictogram. As we can see, our key is telling us each picture or each child represents 10 learners. So we are going to see which grade have more learners. So looking at grade 1, it doesn't have more learners than grade 4. So we conclude here that grade 4 have more learners than all other grades. Okay, grade 4 have more learners than all other grades. As you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 learners. 10 learners, like, because here our one picture represents 10 learners, so it's 10 times 10, which makes it more learners than all the other grades. So we move on to the next question. Our next question is, which grade has the least learners? Which grade has the least learners? So we are going to look back at our pictogram. Which grade has the least learners? As you can see, grade 1 have more kids than grade 2, grade 3, 2, grade 4 have more kids, and grade 5 have more kids. So the grade with the least learners is grade 2. So which grade have the same number of learners? Here they are asking which two grades have the same number of learners. So we are going to count the numbers of learners in each class. Grade 1 have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which makes them 70. And grade 2, no, it doesn't have 7. Okay, grade 3, it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. And grade 4 have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grade 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have finally concluded that grade 1 have the same number of learners as grade 5. Okay, we move on to our next question. How many learners are there in grade 5? Grade 5, how many learners are there? Looking at our key, each picture represents 10 learners. So we are going to look at how many learners are in here. So since 1 represents 10 learners, we are going to count in the multiples of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So grade 5 have 70 learners. Okay, are we together? Okay, we move on to our next question. How many learners are there in grade 1 to grade 5 all together? How many learners are there in grade 1 to grade 5? So here we are going to compare. How many learners are there in grade 1 to grade 5? Since we can see grade 1 have 70 learners, grade 5 have 70 learners, so there is no comparison in these two grades. So there is 0 learners that are there in grade 1 to grade 5, since grade 1 and grade 5 have equal numbers of learners. So here we are just looking more on the pictograms, like how to interpret data from the pictogram using pictures. And our key here, you can see one picture represents 10 learners, so each of these pictures represent 10 learners. And when you're going to count them, you're not going to count as 1, 2, 3, 4, but you're going to count in 10 learners. So we move on to interpreting data from bar graphs. And I hope you guys understand, and I hope it's clear. And I hope once you come across a pictogram one day with questions, you'll be able to answer the questions. We move on to interpreting data from bar graphs. And here we have our bar graph. The difference between our bar graph and pictograph, the one that we were dealing with earlier, is that bar graph consists of bars, as you can see, while the pictograms consist of pictures. So we are going to use the bar graph here to answer the questions that will follow. So our bar graph is already drawn. It have the title, it have all its labels on the y-axis and x-axis. The bars are drawn, so for you it's just to answer the questions that follows. So in this bar graph, we are going to answer the following questions. We are actually going to look at the points scored by the 4 schools. And our first question will be, which school scored the highest points and which one scored the lowest points? So we are going to look at our bars. So which one scored the highest and which one scored the lowest? So I think we can conclude here that school A scored the lowest compared to school B. School B scored the highest compared to school D. So school A is the one that scored the lowest points, while school B is the one that scored the highest points. Okay, and then I think it will also be important that you also mention the number of points. So we can say school A scored the lowest with 50 points and school B scored the highest with 200 points. So you have to mention the points and the school as well. Okay, we move on to the next question. We move on to the next question. The next question is asking, what is the difference between the school that came first and second? So the school that came first is school B, and the one that came second is school D. So let me say, for example, if we're giving awards, the first one is this one with the highest points, followed by D, followed by C, followed by A. So we are going to look at the difference between the points scored by the highest school and the points scored by the lowest school. So let's go ahead and find out. So the difference is actually, we are going to find out is we are going to minus the highest points from the lowest points. So our highest school got 200 points, which is school B. And then we are going to minus 150 points, 50 points, which is school D. So we are going to do this now. 200 points minus 150 points. Let's do this calculation quickly. So 0 minus 0, 0 can subtract from 0, so this is 0. And then 0 minus 5, you can subtract 5 from 0, so we have to borrow 1 from 2, and this become 10. Then 10 minus 5 is 5, and you remain with 1 here. 1 minus 1 is 0. So our answer is 50. The difference between the highest school and the second school is 50 points. So that's the difference between these two schools. So if school D worked harder and add 50 points, it could be equal to school B. So that's our difference between the highest and the second school. Okay, so do you understand, or there is maybe any question on how to interpret data from the bar graph, or perhaps how to interpret data from the pictograms? Because I'm going to give you an activity, like a topic task now in class, that you have to complete, and I want you to make sure that you read and interpret the correct data from what I'm going to give you. Okay, this is our topic task. You have to finish it right now in class and come. Okay, you have to finish it. Do it individually in your books. Fast. We only have few minutes, and then we'll answer this now in class. So you better hurry up. Do that individually. You look at the following pictogram and answer the questions that follows down there. And please make sure you use the key. The key is provided right there, so use the key. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay, are you done? Okay, if you are done, I would ask you to exchange your books with your partner, like with the person that's close to you. Exchange the books, and then we are going to do the correction. You mark their books and award them their marks. So our first question: what does the key below pictogram tells us? So as I told you earlier, the key always tell us the picture. Okay, the symbol or the picture. It tells us how many people are represented by the symbol or the picture. Okay, then we move on to number B. How many people came to Namibia to do business? So you're going to look at the key here, which means one person represents 250 people. So we go back to our pictogram here at business. It shows how many people came to Namibia to visit to do business. So here at business, we are going to count how many people are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So as you see, our key here says one person represents 250 people. So we are going to multiply 250 people times 7 in order to find out our answer. And our answer is going to be 1,750. And then the next question is, how many people came to Namibia to visit friends and family? So friends and family is here. We are going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 250 people, and our answer is 2,500. So that's our right answer. Please, okay, so please mark your, if any of your friends get any of these answers right, mark them, give them a tick. And then the next question is, how many people came to Namibia for holiday? So for holiday, you're going to ask to calculate again to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 times 250 people, and then that equals to 4,000 people. So 4,000 people came to Namibia for holiday. And then explain how the pictogram will change if you change the key to 50,000 people. So I think if you change the key to 50,000 people, that means there'll be few pictures in the pictogram, because if one person represents 50,000 people, that means there'll be very few people. Let me say, for example, if there were 50,000 people that came for a holiday, then that means there will only be one picture represented in the holiday, but in the holiday table. So if